Here we go. We're going live.
Going live. Here we are.
Let's see. And
good morning, Pittsburgh. I hope people can tune in and can see us. I have to pull up my thing. Andy can look at the chat to see if we got that 5x5. Anybody who's out there. I'm glad you guys are tuning in. For those of you who don't know me, I've been told by other parts of our production staff that I need to do this weekly kind of synopsis of who I am. Hi, I'm Dr. Misak, and kind of what I do. I'm a naturopathic doctor, pharmacist, and I'm here to kind of equip you, I hope, to learn how to. And I bet you've heard that before. I bet many people have heard that, like there's got to be something to so many practitioners and who talk health and talk natural health and take control of your health, and in reality you need to.
we're not up. Everything is crashing.
Everything is crashing. I noticed that I'm
okay, I'm locked up, so I'm not sure what to do here.
Let me see where my internet says I am. I have good signal, so it's not my internet connection.
We've got 9 people on. Zoom is locking on us though, so we'll see what happens.
And you're plugged in, right?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Zoom not responding. I think we're gonna end up bombing here.
Okay.
This is
yeah, you're locked up on my screen. You can see me. I don't know who can see me. Let's go to
OBS is still getting our sound at least.
Okay.
Let's see.
So let's see if anybody here is on and saying.
Yeah, they're having trouble. I'm trying, Doc. I can't get Zoom to restart, so I'm not sure what.
Yeah, it looks like Zoom is locked up. My internet says and we have people saying good morning. Good signal, so it's not my internet connection.
We've got 9 people on.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay. Where'd it go? Doc, we're not up. The meeting's down. The Zoom isn't even up. No one's hearing you, Doc. Let's see. Let's see here. Try this again. Hang in there, guys. We're coming. Have to get Zoom going again. There he is. All right. You guys should be seeing us here in a second.
So it blows my mind, people, and I don't know if they're on or not. I see.
Not yet. I'm getting there. I'm almost there. Oops.
Oh, good. They still hear us, Annie.
Yeah, you can. We have audio, but I don't have any picture.
So we just redid a Zoom meeting. People, we have no clue why this is happening. We have the fastest internet that has upload and download speed that you can purchase. We are actually plugged in directly to. We don't even use the Wi-Fi because in that way we're directly plugged into a DSL. There's no issues with our internet whatsoever. All of the programs that we're using seem to work fine until we go live. I mean, go figure. And so we have no clue why this is happening. And but we're doing everything we can. And Annie's trying to pull that back up right now. We got Zoom back up to where we just have to pre-populate it back into what's called online broadcasting system, the OBS system.
There you go. You're back in.
What's that?
I said you're back on.
Oh, good.
Video again.
Hi, everybody. So I don't know why this happens. We can't figure it out. We do the same things, and sometimes, bam, the show starts. They used to be able to allow where we could say, hey, the show's coming on, and we could prep it, and we could work for 30 minutes, and it could be up so you guys could be ready for the moment that it went live. And then YouTube, for some reason, yanked that out from underneath the platform that you could do that. So when we go live, we go live, and then now we're going live, and why we're having basic internet issues, we just can't explain it. And so I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say.
Well, we're back up. Oh, it's all good.
Could not find some of the pre-recorded shows yesterday. I couldn't either. Jackie, I was looking. There is one on our YouTube channel. There is, what do they call, files that have all the shows. And I think you can click on that and the shows get dumped into, I don't know the name of it. But there's one that kind of carries them all. But so one of the things, I always like to turn around and, I love this Bible app, and today it kind of fits. What then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. I mean, if we're on God's side with regards to all the crap that's going on, then we win, people. No matter what, we win. And so, I'm just going to push forward and do what I can to bring this stuff to you guys. We really have an incredibly exciting show that's going to seem kind of weird when people go to watch these. And the other thing is YouTube, Annie, are we able to edit videos and knock out the first 5 minutes of all that stuff? And
no.
See,
I can download it and re-edit it and re-upload it, but it doesn't necessarily help us,
So
I hate live because it's not all pretty and perfect and, tied up with a nice little bow. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. So here's a vote, people. For those 14 of you that are showing on, and we need 14 votes. Do we pre-record these or do we stay live? Do. So send them up live or pre-record. Because if we pre-record, Annie's would make just these beautiful videos. We'd come in and she'd probably have me phase in. I'd get makeup. She'd probably do makeup on me and everything. It'd just be perfect.
Much time.
So, all right. Let's see what we have here. We have Truly C. Good. Diane, Marty, Beth Ann. Good morning, Beth Ann. Leah, you are coming and going. Yes, we are. I am in life in general, by the way. Jackie, Marty, there we go. Same people. Linda Thornton, good morning. Black screen. Yep. Holy Aspen. I like that. Good morning. Good morning. Maybe you are violating their community standards. Yeah, it makes you wonder, right? Jackie Gates, live. Marty D, live. Truly C, live. I like it live. Lauren Jones. Oh my God, everybody wants us to stay live. You don't get to fix me up there, Annie. Sorry about that. No comment while you're eating that burrito I made for you?
Yeah, more like just inhaling it. It's very good. Trying to get these images in.
Okay, so what Annie's doing is we've been working and we've shown you these images and stuff, and we keep talking about whether it be pH or we talk about the BRIX or we talk about the cell debris or conductivity or nitrates, and just kind of, and today is the day we're going to tie it all together, so putting it all together. She's uploading images so we can pull these images up so you don't have to look at my not makeup prepared face the whole time. I prefer, while those are up, I can go back and shave a little bit or something and just talk in the background. Kidding, by the way. But everybody says that they like the live show. So I think that we are going to get stuck because we only had 14 people on and we are already over 7. So it doesn't give me the ability to edit out these blips that I will say that I don't know if I should say sometime. I know last week the got a little bit political. I apologize for getting a little bit political on things. I hope that it doesn't bother you guys. I don't know what to say except this world is kind of really screwed up right now. And
I say we could just bring it all up again because why not?
Oh my God.
The emails. Oh, the $10 million. Let's not.
Yeah, that's just let's overlook what people on those standards do and just not even consider them to be guilty in any capacity, or just let them off the hook because they have a lot of money. That's just ridiculous. I mean, don't even really go there.
It used to be the American way. Hopefully Trump's going to change.
Right. My recommendation is that Trump watches my shows and that he lets out the National Guard on the day before elections, and that every major city has the National Guard around it, that we have put a curfew on for one night. Any rioting comes up or any types of, no type of protest on those days. And if they do, the National Guard just takes them and throws them away and locks them up on one of those camps somewhere that they have hidden away for people, where a train goes in and doesn't come out. But it's ridiculous what's happening. I think that we're moving towards a civil war with all the civil unrest that we have, people, because history seems to repeat itself. And hate to say it, but it really is sad state of affairs of how human beings are acting the way that they're acting. And utilizing false information to make the decisions that they do to be in their behaviors. But outside of that, let's talk about health. I mean, you guys are watching this to hopefully learn something. Annie did send me a text message this morning that somebody found her on Facebook and turned around and sent a bunch of numbers, and trying to look at these numbers, where they ran numbers 3, 7, for a whole week. Looking at this, first thing you do when you look at a set of numbers, people, is you got to look at which number consistently stays the furthest away from ideal. And as I look at this set of numbers with this person, you have horrible, I think you said they were like 65 years old, Annie.
I sent it all to you in the bottom of those texts.
I don't want to read why somebody is having complaints. I just want to look at the numbers and get a picture. But, this person has really bad sugar issues. You're sugar crashing. You're going down to 0.3, 0.4. Sometimes you're getting it up to 1.5, 1.6, 3.6. When you're eating and you get it up to that 3, 4, you're probably eating an intolerant food. But also look at the pHs. Whoever this person is, your saliva pH is just way too stinking high. When you're looking at what value is consistently high, and so your strength of your bile is just unable to pull nutrients out, and then your urine pH is going from as low as 5.9 as high as 7.3. And, which is consistent with that saliva pH that you probably have parasites. You go through here, your cell debris, you've had, you definitely have some stress on the kidneys. And then I can't see the ammonia nitrates, Annie. It's cut off on the page. And all I see is the nitrates, which is as low as 3 and as high as 10 one day. And so, if you take a full set of numbers here and consistently look at that, this person has low sugars. They have typically alkaline pH, so things are moving too slow. You sent it to me again, so now I can hold on. Can see it. And he just sent it back to me. There we go. And so there we go. So your ammonia levels have got as high as 11 too. And so when you're looking at that, but you also, when you got to 11, look at your BRIX went up to a 5, whoever this person is, if you're listening. And so your BRIX went to a 5, your pH shot down where you're typically running 6.8 down to 6.1. Your cell debris went up. your conductivity went up to 25 and your ammonia nitrates went to 11. You ate something that your body says, hell no, that day. But in general, you're going to have an overgrowth. You're running 7 to 8 on your ammonia nitrates. You're borderline. You're in and out of where you're seeing some potassium level issues. And if you watch your number patterns, you'll see some stress in the numbers beforehand, so the potassium gets utilized. There's what's that? I thought you said something. So, I mean, this is the type of thing where when you're looking at a set of numbers like this, you got to turn around and, number one, control your BRIX. You're bouncing all day long, 0.9, 0.7, 2.1, 0.3, 1.9, 0.4, 3.6, 5. So what are you eating? How much are you drinking? If it goes up, are you just trying to pound water to get it back down? There has to be some control in your BRIX, whether you're eating every 2 hours to maintain it, or whether you're putting some juice in your water, or whatever you're doing, that where you learn to control that BRIX. If it's going down at a particular time of day, because you look at at 8 a.m. you had one at 6 point, you had one at 3.4. I hope it's not your first morning. Never do your first morning urine. But in the evening, these 5:30 p.m.s, you're at 0.9, 0.3, 0.4. You're crashing in the evening, which normally the sugar should go up. You need to do something about that. If your sugars are going down to 0.4, 0.3 at 5 o'clock at night, then you need to be doing something in the afternoon to keep that from happening. You need to learn what keeps your sugars maintained, whether you need to eat protein or fat, whether you need to snack on some nuts or some type of something to keep your sugars maintained, or in some cases put juice in your water, or a teaspoon of gin, because you're going to have an alcohol deficiency. You're going to get cold. You're not going to produce the alcohols and the heat that you need to, and heat is energy.
I put the numbers up on the screen.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So everyone's looking at this set of numbers. So when you look at all these, look at the patterns of where you're consistently poor sugar regulation. You consistently have high pHs, 6.9, 6.8, 6.9, 6.8, 7.3, except when you ate something that you shouldn't, you went down to 6.1. So that doesn't mean eat your food allergies to get your pH down. What it says is that your chemistry is sluggish, and worst off is your saliva pH. With a saliva pH that high, you are not digesting. Your things are moving way too slow. People would turn around and say, you need colonics. I would probably have you do about 6 colonics, 2 in the first week, back-to-back days, 2 the second week, back-to-back days, and then do 1 the next 2 weeks while you're working on these things. You more than likely have parasites. I would do a round of K-Men. I don't know what you're taking. When I look at numbers, somebody just giving a full set of numbers with a height and weight needs to turn around and say what you are actually taking. Are you taking vitamin D? I mean, if you are, you probably don't need it. Are you taking vitamin C? You definitely do need it. What sources of calcium are you taking? You definitely need Mincol, calcium phosphate by looking at these. You probably need some calcium lactate. When you're looking at your cell debris going up to, 4M to possibly a few pluses, you're looking at, well, your kidneys are working. They're hanging in there. But when you're seeing a sluggish liver, that pH going high, and your nitrates getting down to 3, 4, 4, 3, 6, 7, when those nitrates are less than 9 or 10, then there's an aspect where you are not building protein or forming, the amino acid complexes that you need to build healthy cells. So why? There's you could look at it from a deficiency standpoint. You could look at it from a parasite standpoint. Do parasites affect your ability to absorb your minerals? Do parasites mess with your digestive tract? Do parasites, there's a lot of things to consider when you see a set of numbers like this, and then your ammonia levels being typically above 7, as high as 11, say that you're putrefying things in your digestive tract. You are not eliminating your ammonia waste. So with these, when your ammonia levels are, getting that high, you're going to wake up exhausted in the morning because your heart's going to work so hard overnight. But, you had, when you add them up, you have 9, and then you go up to 16, 16, 14, and then you drop down to 11, 15, 8, 17, 12, 15, and then 21. So you are having issues with how you're utilizing both magnesium and potassium. So you probably need a little bit of both, and you have to figure out which one you need. But you can't, it looks like you would be chasing your numbers. You're testing them 3 times. You're testing them almost daily, a couple times a day. And then are you chasing your numbers? Oh, they're low. Now I'm going to take this. Oh, they're high. Now I'm going to take this. Oh, I need to drink more today. You can't do that. You need to find consistency and then test that set of numbers 5 to 7 days out to see what it's doing. The only numbers I would run every day for you is your BRIX, your urine and saliva pH. You need to learn what foods are doing that, and you need to keep a diet diary with it. And so as you do that, you learn, okay, this food makes me go alkaline. This food makes me go acidic. This food causes my BRIX to crash. This food causes my BRIX to go up too high. Wow, food allergy. My urine pH went down with that one. And you got to learn the patterns. And if you learn how to eat to move those numbers first, then we look at what do you need to stabilize it. And if you see that the pattern, you're eating consistently and you have a consistent pattern that's high or low, then we look at supplementation. What do we actually need? So I could look at these and suggest, you probably need a little bit of magnesium at bedtime, 200 to 300 milligrams of probably a magnesium malate. But then again, I would be giving you some Algazim because you probably have a thyroid disorder by looking at the fact of where your pHs are and that you consistently drop down into a potassium issue. So that potassium issue is showing with your conductivity. Your sugar to salt ratio isn't too bad, but look on that second day, 1.6 to 13, that is that's such a high conductivity ratio. Where are you getting all that salt? Then you go to 3.4 to 11, then you go 0.9 to 11. That's greater than a 1 to 10 ratio. Get rid of the sea salt. Where's it coming from? Because that salt's going to, you're going to have a tendency towards diverticulitis. You're going to have a tendency towards coughing and sneezing and losing urine. You're going to have, this is where it's more than just say, hey, look at my numbers and what do I take? That you have to find what you're eating and how it's affecting these numbers, and then look at what you take. There's a basis of what you need. I take a Mincol with every meal. I would definitely have you on some selenium and zinc. I would definitely have you on 200-300 milligrams of magnesium at night. I would definitely have you on Algazim at least once or twice a day. I would definitely have you on, because your liver's so congested, I'd give you some B6, B12, and folate. B6 because of the pyridoxal 5-phosphate, because of the high conductivity. You've got nerve irritation. B12 and folate because they're not going to be utilized with the stress that's on your liver. And so you probably need a little bit of benfotiamine too, some active B1, because you could very well have sinus issues and mold exposure with these numbers. And that's where I'd look at the blood and I'd do some other things. So, this is, the show, you can pop that off the screen, Annie, but the show is not intended just to go back and fully evaluate a set of numbers and say, hey, what do I take? What do I do? But to give you an idea of how to look at these numbers. Does that help people to understand how to look at them? What's the general thesis or general feel for that? Is it possible for blood pressure meds to affect ureas? Sure. It's possible for any drug to affect anything because ureas is blood pressure medications can affect your liver, and therefore you affect your liver, you're going to affect how things are broken down in the body. When is the book coming out? Come on, Annie.
Oh, come on, Doc. Need that final edit.
Good morning, Jackie. I'll go for that. Working at a vote site, want to be safe. Guards would be good for me. Heck yeah, they would. I hope you carry a gun. You have the right, by the way.
Right.
But oh, it looks like I went down on the show. I need to get back up so I can see what's going on.
YouTube's lagging for some reason. I'm not sure what
Okay.
it's doing.
Kind of looked like the screen was moving and showing some weird stuff and showing, if you look at the oh my, it's showing like going over my herbs, and this is really weird. I don't know what people are seeing, but I don't know how that happened, Annie, but I'm assuming everybody's doing okay. There, I just came back in. You must have been moving the Zoom.
You're on a delay.
I'm on a delay. Okay.
Make sure, take in your YouTube thing, scroll your progress bar to live.
Scroll my progress bar to live. How do I see? Ah, wow, Annie. I didn't know you could do that.
I'm here to help.
Okay. So anyway, today in 30 minutes or less, okay, which is what we have left, we are going to tie it all together. So first off, Annie's going to pop up for you the perfect equation, okay? If you pull up that perfect equation, let me pull it up on my screen so I'm looking at the same thing that you are. Here we go. And when you're looking at this, you go down the perfect equation, and it's just that, people. We have a measurement of what is perfect. What does that mean? The line of least resistance. The idea of where energy can have least resistance, so it has maximal utilization and efficiency, meaning that you have maximum potential, meaning that you have optimal health. That's why it says optimal health. So we have a measurement that says when your variables are these numbers, all of them have to be that. Notice when you know perfect, any movement towards perfect is improved energy. Wow, that's good to know. So if you look at a set of numbers and then you watch when the furthest ones move towards perfect, I'm going to kind of caution you about looking at those nitrates being at 3/3. That's going to be the last thing that corrects, by the way. But perfect is only when all the numbers are perfect. So if you have a BRIX of 1.5, pHs of 6.4, conductivity of 6.5, you have a 4M, and then you have a 6/3, like, oh my God, I'm doing so incredible. Yeah, you really are. But you're not at perfect health. Your body's still in a process of trying to eliminate excess cells and excess waste while it's trying to still build and replace those cells, because the 4M is showing you're getting rid of the extra ones, and the 6/3 says I'm trying to build some stuff because I'm not there yet. It's not perfect, but damn, you're doing well. But if you have 1.5, 6.4/6.4, and then you have a 10C and a 4M and a 10/7, then you can turn around and say, oh my God, I've got 1.5, 604/6.4. I feel incredible. Yeah, you would, because your body has a very high energy inefficiency. But on the backside, you're detoxing. Your salts are up, your cell debris is up, your nitrates are up, your body's dumping in a very high efficiency way. That's when you detox the crap out of people. Put them in saunas, do foot baths, anything. Sweat those people. Get that stuff out of them. Support the body. Make it go faster. Help it out. So all the numbers are perfect only when is the only way you're gonna have perfect equation. Let me tell you something. If you look at the bottom, it says that the potential of perfect is in all of us. Hell yeah. I'm made in the image of God Almighty, people. In and of all things, everywhere, anywhere, at any time. My son has been translocated into a place where he can travel at the speed of light at this point. I look forward to that. And know everything you could ever want to know. The instant you think it, you got the answer. How about that? And then to know why you did the things that you did and how it all played a role. Could you imagine knowing everything that you would want to know? Exploding, mind-blowing. Perfect's in all of us, people. and Reams just showed that it's all energy. And so then how do you explain it? Okay, BRIX 1.5. So then Andy's going to pop up the BRIX. So you go up to the BRIX. And if you pull up the BRIX, it says, hey, the BRIX of the urine primarily represents sugars and potential or available energy. It says primarily means that, not only means that, because the BRIX is a measurement of like total dissolved solids. It's like a TDS meter. It's a how much is light refractometer, how with by what's in there, how much is it bending because of the amount of stuff that's in the urine. Well, who says that's just sugars? It's not. But what Ream showed is that it's primarily sugars until your conductivity goes greater than 15. So therefore, you're mostly looking at sugars and salts, okay? Because when the conductivity goes high, you're starting to show inorganic salts and ureas to start popping up in there. So Dr. Bedeau, who was, coined to carry the torch, and once Ream was died, Bedau's going to be the man to listen to. And Bedeau, in his book, says, the BRIX has the greatest effect on overall conscious and subconscious feeling of the body than any other number in the equation. Oh my, people. Do I feel crappy? Do I have sugar regulation issues? I would say that 90% of the people that come into my office do. And what causes sugar regulation issues? What affects those sugars? What I drink and what I eat. Not I need more gymnema and bitter melon and chromium and vanadium and whatever supplement known to mankind for sugar regulation. I need more adaptogenic herbs. I need more bioavailable silica to help the ability to hydrate myself. The supplements that have these mechanisms can be profoundly beneficial. I'm not denying the effect of certain supplements to enhance our well-being. I mean, otherwise I'm going to turn around and say, hi, have I told you about vitalometry? Let me sell my product every single day. No, people, this is a lifestyle. This is you measuring something and saying, am I eating the right foods and am I drinking enough water? So as you go down this thing, we have ranges. And I don't know if we're going to do just a range chart because we've included ranges in, on the pH and the BRIX. But you go over and you look at these ranges. So 1.5 to 2. So a BRIX of 1.5 to 2, which really all your numbers should be measured 1.5 to 2 hours after you eat because you're measuring the efficiency of that food. And therefore, you should have 1.5 to 2 to optimize your oxygen availability. But it says when you go to range B and C, where the BRIX goes high, you start seeing where sugars displace oxygen. So you have a low oxygen state. And when you see a BRIX go low, sugar crashers, you see that you're not producing enough oxygen. So both high and low BRIX are associated with poor oxygenation. Now, what's interesting is you notice in that range C, a BRIX of 8.5 to 13. I certainly hope not, because then you got a serious brain issue. And you look at that because you're so anionic at that point, and you have such a that high sugar and such displacement and so low. If you ever see a BRIX greater than 8, you better start looking at your brain and thinking about brain scans. Just letting you know, people. If you see a BRIX greater than 7.15, you probably have diabetes. Okay, not on a single number where you go and eat pork, because it'll do it to you. It'll show you how bad it messes with your sugar regulation. But if you're consistently testing and you're hitting BRIX, greater than 5.5, and but yet consistently getting above 7.15, you're diabetic, totally a diabetic. So we have these tendencies towards high sugars above 5.49. or tendencies towards low sugars below 5.49. And so, but when you get in that range A, you're optimizing oxygen. So what happens if you have low sugars? There's your symptoms: lightheaded, dizzy, extreme fatigue, muscle aching, crashing, frontal headaches, migraines, seizures, forgetfulness, being cold all the time because you're not converting those sugars to an alcohol to generate heat, mood swings, vertigo, suicidal depression, insomnia. Or if you're consistently eating foods you're not supposed to and eating food allergies and you're spiking that up to 5 or 5.5, 6, and, have those tendency towards high sugars and diabetes, foggy brain, cluster headaches, fatigue, muscle aches, numbness in the extremities. How many diabetics you hear about getting diabetic neuropathies? Why? What correlates with those high sugars? High salts. Morning grogginess. I don't want to get out of bed. Why? Because when those numbers go up, you see correlation and patterns where the sugars are up, the salts are up, the nitrates are up. You don't want to get out of bed. Your heart worked all tonight. Urinating, middle of the night, body aches, heat intolerance. If you understand how to control sugar regulation, you understand how to maximize your energy. And then we move to the next part of the equation, and we go to pHs. And then, so you read there about pH, and he's pulling these up, I hope. And it says urine pH represents post-digestion efficiency. It's telling you the overall metabolism of the body. And saliva pH, pre-digestion. How strong is my liver bile? And how energy can move through the system, the frequency and the speed of things going through the body, as well as helping locate a y-axis. X-axis is horizontal, y-axis is perpendicular, up and down. So high pHs steer to high up in the body. That's where you can see sinus issues, lung issues, breast issues, shoulder issues, brain issues, thyroid issues. Low pHs, hormonal issues, prostate issues, knee pain, back pain, digestive issues. Okay. And so Dr. Ream showed that pH is a measure of resistance, which is friction between these molecules. And at a value of 6.4 is a neutral electric point where ions can change spin to be either cationic or anionic based upon external influences, meaning your urine pH dictates the efficiency of your body and the speed of things. And water is what makes up 80% of your body. And I've talked about water being an isotope, meaning that it can spin left or right depending on the external influence, the environment. Meaning that if you're consistently acidic, your body, water, is going to consistently be converted acidic and things are going to be moving too fast. You're not going to absorb things, or vice versa. If you're consistently alkaline, like that number we were looking at earlier, things are going to be moving too slow. And then you don't eliminate effectively. And then you just keep auto-intoxicating yourself because you're not peeing your waste out effectively. And it's just this chronic, nasty cycle. And what do you get? Headaches, achiness. So you go and you look, we got the ranges there. Ideal, 6.3 to 6.6. We can't expect to be 6.4 all the time. But when you're going too fast and you go acidic, you're in the furthest away. You're in range D and E. And when you're going too slow, you're in range B and C. So if I can keep you in range A, B, somewhere between 6.3 to about 6.8, I like, then you're going to do fairly decent and you can eat mostly anything. But look at the energy efficiency if you can stay in range AB. You're between 75 to 100% energy efficient. That's huge. And so then you go over and you look at symptoms when your things are going too fast. Okay, what happens? Diarrhea, non-digested food in the stools. I didn't have time to break it down. Lower extremity pain, that y-axis. Premenstrual cramping, that y-axis, low in the body. Heavy menstrual flow, that y-axis, low parts of the body. Prostate complaints, that y-axis, low parts of the body. Malabsorption deficiencies, because things are going too fast. I want it to make sense, people. If things are going too slow, you don't believe the book Alkalize or Die to keep your pH at 7, because you will see constipation, sinus, respiratory issues, thyroid complaints, skin eruptions, visual complaints, shoulder, upper extremity pain, cluster headaches, upper jaw, teeth issues. There's more symptoms. The pH of the saliva is pre-digestive. It gives you an idea of the strength of your bile. The pH of the urine gives you the ability and the frequency of the body, how well you're doing. So when Reem says, if you know the frequency, you know the diet. So look at your urine pH. And if your urine pH is too fast, range D and E, eat D and E foods. The ones that have the calciums that are prominent to slow your chemistry down. If your pH is too slow, range B and C, then eat range BC foods, because those are going to speed it back up because of the prominent minerals that are in them. And if you turn around and keep a diet diary, you'll see that certain foods will cause drastic change in you and say, wow, I eat sweet potatoes and my pH goes skyrocket high. Okay, then eat something to offset that. And so you're blending your foods to get both of those calciums, but the overall effect is to keep your pH around 6.3 to 6.6. You learn to blend your foods, so when you move in that A-B range, you can eat on the BC or the DE diet, but you just got to watch your pH and see if there's certain foods that throw you way out of whack. And once you learn your patterns and how to eat, people, you've changed your life for the rest of your life. I hope this is making sense. So then we move on to conductivity. Why? Because of salts. There's a sugar to salt ratio. And conductivity of the urine represents salts, or the ability of energy to move through the system. The BRIX is potential energy. The pH is the speed of the energy. The conductivity is the ability of it to get from point A to point B, in which coincides with osmotic pressure and the ability of fluids to move in and out of the body, the thickness of your body fluids. So high conductivity, your body fluids get thick and things slow down. Low conductivity gets too thin and things can move too fast or not get where they're needing to be. So when you're looking at this aspect, it says like, at 6.5, it's like a static energy, where the ideal amount of static exists to allow energy and fluids to move freely through the body. Too high or too low, affects energy's ability to get where it needs to be. And high conductivity situations are like static electricity, where it causes smooth muscle and nerve breakdown. Because most people eat sea salt, and most people have high conductivity. And most people who do that are overstimulating their adrenal glands, spiking up cortisol levels, and having chronic nervousness and anxiety issues and numbness and tingling and all those symptoms. So you go over, what are the symptoms? Most of the time you see high conductivity symptoms. Blood agglutination. You see the aspects, that your blood thickens and starts to agglutinate, stick together. You see diverticuli formation. Why? Smooth muscle breakdown. Things are moving too slow through the digestive tract because the pHs are typically elevated with that. And you see it starts breaking down and you get these pockets. Lack of bladder control. Achoo! Oh my God, I peed myself. How many ladies are out there doing that? How many of you are eating sea salt? Hiatal hernias. Why? Breakdown in the muscle. Releases. You see nervousness, anxiety, hearing impairment, high blood pressure. Why? Blood gets thick, produces cholesterol. The liver does, to try to thin out and make that blood a little bit more slippery. Heart palpitations. Why? Because your blood's thick. And it correlates with what? A sugar to salt ratio. So your sugars are high, which means low oxygen, thick blood. What's your heart going to do? Think about these things and how it's working. Edema and swelling. Why? Because the blood's thick. And where there's too much stuff, by the principles of osmosis, water's going to go there. And if your things are getting too thick, water's going to stay in tissues where it's not supposed to be. Increased body temperature. Why? Because it correlates with high sugars. And the breakdown of sugars is alcohol, and alcohol generates heat. So you're warm all the time. Correlates with diabetics. How many diabetics are warm all the time? Arthritis, lack of skin elasticity, kidney disease. Why? But think about it. The thickness of the fluids, the having to process more than it can handle. Lack of vitamin A happens in those situations, affects skin elasticity because of the ability of fluids to get where they need to be. Low conductivity, basically general slowness, mentality, physically, poor coordination, because energy can't get where it needs to be. It's that simple. Just can't get there. And when you see potassium deficiency, which is associated typically with low oxygen states and the ability to digest things, and you're not building up those nitrates and you get potassium deficient, oh my God, those people, their brains do not work. What'd you say? What do you want to do? Okay. Where'd you want to go? Okay. Where'd you say you wanted to go? Okay. Can't remember lickety squat. Their brains, because lack of potassium, lack of ability of energy to get where it needs to be. So when you're looking at that, conductivity, I want you guys to make sense of what these ratios mean. We got 10 minutes. I think we're doing okay. So then we move to cell debris. So the urine cell debris basically describes the rate of energy exchange, where the higher the cell debris, the lower the frequency and the length of times cell how long a cell will live. So if you have high cell debris, your cells aren't living as long and your body's trying to get rid of them. And the lower the frequency means that your pH is going to typically be off in that state. And that means you tend to see those pH variances that go along with it. These numbers always correlate with one another. But the cell debris give us an idea of how well the kidneys are working. Are they able to get rid of this stuff? So how much stress is on those kidneys with that cell turnover and the elimination? How well are you getting rid of your waste? So if you had, I described that set, 1.564 over 6.4, and then you have, a 8C, a little bit elevated, then you have a less than 4M, and you have a 10 over 9 nitrates. So therefore, you have all of this crappy nitrates and these salts going up, but your cell debris is like not coming out at all. You've got an issue. Why is the body holding on to these dead cells? You're feeding a cancer. Because they're staying in there and they're going to, be less than 100% effective. They're going to be doing their own thing. So it gives you an idea of water balance, the body's ability to get rid of these cells, edema, kidney stress, and whether the body is cooperating. Because if you're not getting rid of the cells as you improve the rest of the equation, you better figure out where that's coming from. Reams quite often used golden seal to improve cellular waste elimination, but golden seal is quite acid forming and should only be used part-time, short time. Plus, being a plant that is being threatened, of how it's been used. A lot of naturopaths have resisted using it, but it's, typically are using it for immune boosting and antimicrobial activity. But so when you're looking at that urine, this is subjective, because you're looking at the urine. If you look at that on the less than 4M, you notice that you can see the graph paper coming perfectly through it, and you don't see any dots in there. You don't see any cellular debris. On the 4M, where symptoms are going to be present, meaning that, hey, my body's eliminating these wastes, you can see the graph papers become a little bit cloudy, and you start seeing some specks in there. That's the cell debris. And then on a 4M plus, hey, I can still get the light through it, but it's a little bit more cloudy. And now we're starting to see a lot of specks. And when you get to like a triple plus, or more, you basically, you can't even see through that urine. The light won't penetrate, so you don't see the graph paper even coming through it. That's kind of how we did that to give an explanation of that. When we're looking at, finally, we get to the nitrates. And so when you get to nitrates, nitrates and ammonia nitrates represent what we call the ureas, and they give insight into our detoxification ability, the elimination, how well we're eliminating, potassium and magnesium needs when they're really low, less than 12, or if you need to lose weight, less than 14. You're going to see potassium issues when they, if your first set of numbers, if you're greater than 16, you probably need magnesium. If your nitrates are ever greater than 19 total, you're going to have magnesium deficient symptoms. They're going to give you ideas of pancreatic enzyme production. How? Because the nitrates are telling you whether you're building cells. And so if you have low nitrates, then you are not breaking food down for building blocks. And what's required of that? Pancreatic and liver digestive enzymes. And you will see that nitrate number correlate with the saliva pH, the strength of the liver bile, that saliva pH, and that nitrate gives you an idea of the liver and the pancreas ability to break down foods. Okay. X-axis location on the body of energy loss. So whereas the pHs are telling you high or low in the body, the nitrates are telling you right or left side of the body. When your nitrates are higher, it's typically the right side of the body. When your ammonia nitrates are higher, it's typically the left side of the body. Here's interesting. If you have a heart attack and you're having a heart attack, what side of the body do people get issues on? The left. That interesting? Why? Because which of those nitrates is toxic? The ammonia nitrates. What side of the body do the ammonia nitrates represent? The left side of the body. What do the ammonia nitrates get toxic to? The heart. Reams told us how we could predict heart attacks based upon how well people are breaking down food or not breaking down food or destroying and breaking down tissues in their body, and those ammonia nitrates go up and they become toxic to the heart and overstress the heart. Do you think this is all correlated? This all makes sense, I hope. So when you're looking at the aspects of the nitrates represent ability to build proteins, and whereas the ammonia nitrates is whether you're breaking down in your body or not digesting your proteins as waste and producing toxic waste. So when you have high nitrates, what happens? Angina, heart attacks, muscle spasms. Why? High nitrates, low magnesium, spastic muscles, heart palpitations. Why? Low magnesium, heart palpitations, extreme fatigue. Why? Nitrates cause that heart to overwork. GI dysbiosis. Why? Ammonia nitrates. They're toxic. Your body's not breaking this stuff down. So yeast and parasites and bacteria come in and help you to break it down because it's just going to putrefy, and then you get gassy and bloaty. Because what's the byproduct of fermentation? Edema. Why? Because they correlate. Watch your numbers. Those high nitrates is your body's ability to get rid of things. Headaches, restlessness, insomnia. And then your low nitrates are typically associated with potassium deficiency. So then you see decreased mental acuity, forgetfulness, headaches, seizures. Why? Because those seizures are going to correlate with potassium deficiency and low oxygen availability to the brain. Dementia, thyroid dysfunction, brain tumors. So you can go back and drop those. So now everybody can look at me. I've been working on my my makeup the whole time while you guys were listening to me. But so I hope this makes sense. I'm trying to sum it up. I'm trying to give you a reason why you should be running your numbers. And if you have a particular set of symptoms, how those numbers can explain it. I can't put everything in a picture. Or Annie says, Doc, it just looks cumbersome and cluttered and there's too much crap. But if you get the general aspects of what these patterns are associated with, the BRIX and the health of the blood, of carrying oxygen, the pHs, giving the idea of digestion efficiency with the liver and the metabolic efficiency of the body, the conductivity, giving the idea of nerve irritation and thickness of body fluids, the cell debris giving an idea of the kidney stress, the nitrates giving the ability of the pancreas to break down foods, or whether you're not digesting foods and getting dysbiosis. If you start thinking in these generalized contexts and you see where your values are by looking at these numbers, You have a cause and effect relationship that says, I know what I need. It's not guesswork, people. It's analytical. That's the moral of the story. So I hope this is beneficial, because I don't know where else to go or what else I need to do except go finish this book. Right, Annie?
That's right. Final edit.
It is. We're in final editing, and then you're going to be screaming for book number 2, because you're going to want to know the practicality of this. And so we got to get Annie on a 40-day menu plan. So.
Well, glad I know what's to come.
Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to take one quick look at the any comments that you guys made and see if I can see any.
One on pork at that very last comment.
Oh, it's not showing me my.
It says, if someone's has eaten a no-no food like pork, should we keep taking numbers or wait a while, say a week, to retest?
You're going to see it take 3 to 5 days before you get back to normal. But it does tell you, if you go by those numbers, it's telling you, hey, if my pH is still off, I need to eat foods that are going to offset it. Because you're going to be in DE, you need to eat the DE foods. You'll learn which ones are best for you. And if your BRIX is still high, you know that you need to consistently be drinking your water. But it's going to take you 3 to 5 days to get those values to go back. I do not know why mine got rid of. I can't see the
it's probably,
the checkbox.
I don't know. So, that little status bar kept on messing up for me. It's
yeah, my chat disappeared. So people, all I can say is, hey, thank you for tuning in. Share this. Thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up for everybody to get to. Please share these shows. And when you share it, say, forget the first 5 minutes because they had technical difficulties. But otherwise, be blessed, enjoy the weather, and God